Hey guys, Steve here, another one that's Bushcraft. Today I thought I'd give you a quick little video on using gel stoves, just so you know a little bit about them and why we use them in the wilderness and what they're good for and what they're not good for. First of all, the gel stove I'm going to be looking at today is the Highlander gel stove, right there. Okay, this cost around about £6 from eBay. It's a handy little gel stove and it comes with a basic surround. This is a heat shield. As you can see there, it's got this massive gap, which I think's a problem, by the way, but I'll explain in a moment why. But you get that, and it simply sits in the top of your can. And this is the top part to where you put things on. If you're new to gel stoves, you've never used one of these before, they're very, very simple. Basically, it's a biofuel, if you like, so it's meant to be better for the environment. It means you don't have to burn wood, and you don't have to go and prep a lot of things. Now, as a bushcrafter in the woodland, generally, yeah, you're meant to go out and you're meant to prep all the wood and do all that kind of stuff, but realistically, when you've done it for as long as I've done it, it gets really tiresome having to do all that just to put a cuppa on. So what I use is a simple gel stove. It's easy, it's not as bad as the other fuel stoves I find out there, but it's also not as good. For instance, it's got pros and cons. With this particular stove, there isn't any smell. I don't need to worry about it busting up inside my bag and about any of the methylated spirits or spirits of whatever kind I'm using on other spirit burners, getting all my stuff, getting in my food. This is very simple. Now the downside with this is you can't light it with a ferrocene rod. If you guys have, tell me how, because I've tried. I've got to light my fire ferrocene rod, I'll show you in a moment. It will not light with that. You've got to use a lighter. So that is a downside. You do need to carry a lighter, but you should really have a lighter in the woods with you anyway, at least a lighter, and not just rely on your ferrocene rod. Now, the top of these is very simple. The middle bit pops off like a can of paint. You don't want to buckle it or damage it. And the gel inside is a lovely aqua blue colour. So let's have a quick look. So, today I have a pre-bagged pot noodle. This is curry flavoured one, and it's in a Ziploc bag, and I crush it down like that and put the sauce with it just inside, and I can carry plenty of these in my kit. I'll show you this maybe in another video how I do lots of these, but just ideal on a day-to-day when I'm out just for the day and need some food at lunchtime. Next up, I have my basic knife and fork set. Voila, there it is. You've probably seen this before in other videos, but if you haven't, there's a fork on this side here. There's a spoon on the back side, there's a corkscrew opener there for that day when I fancy a bottle of wine in the woods, and of course there's a tin opener this side, and of course we have the large knife on this side for chopping. Okay, cutting. So I'm using the knife at the moment, and actually I'll tell you what, I'll tell a lie, I'm going to use the back end of my fork, pull it out. So that's something a lot of people might have. And basically, just unpop it. Cool. Let's have a look at this. Doesn't really smell of anything. And you see that really cool blue stuff in there? That's the biofuel, and you get these which is refillable. Now, just to demonstrate you guys, I have with me today in my pocket a lighter, ferrocene rod, and a whistle. So, what we're going to do is first of all try the ferrocene rod. This is a light my fire one. Got the whistle on this as well. There you go. We'll try this. The coals are landing in there, the sparks, but they're just not lighting. So give it a bit of a shake, and this time we'll light with a lighter. You've got to hold the lighter in for a couple of seconds, and there we go. You can see that. That is now lit. Okay, it's hard to see, but that is actually lit. For this, basically, this piece then goes on top. Now the problem that I've got is this. You need at least 2 of these rings, because you've got this gap at the front here, and it lets too much of the heat out. So boiling a simple cup of water in this Tonka mug would take around about 15 minutes or so, as I experienced the other day. That's just way too short, way too long. At a higher altitude, this would be totally useless. It wouldn't be any good. So you need at least 2 of these rings to concentrate that heat, so it's got nowhere to go, and then it can actually heat this up a lot better. The thing I'm going to use to stop that from happening is this tree round from the pine. I'm going to place this over the top of it, inside there, and have my cup just inside, and that'll help stop that heat from escaping, if you like. Okay, so obviously no explanation how to do this bit. With this actual gel burner, I believe you get 9 hours. I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 9 hours. I know some of them got 8 hours, but if you put that in context and think 9 hours, but you're thinking about how long it takes to boil the water. One simple cup like this took that long. That's not good. So why use it, you're saying? Like I said, it's got the pros and cons. The pros of it: doesn't smell, it's bio, safe to use, doesn't leak, reusable. It's okay for popping out the Bushcraft site, making a quick brew if you've got the time to spend. Long term, you can use it for whatever you really want to use it for, really. That little baggie there, I'll use that for something else later on. Over there. So, pot noodle inside there. You can put a bit of chopped salami inside here, pepperoni, whatever you want. This is dry food, lightweight. Add the sauce. This is good already. Now, the pot, you want to make sure it's on a decent flat surface where it's definitely not going to fall. This thing here, you don't want to fall over obviously in it, because it will spew everywhere and you can't really put it out. You need to snuff it to put it out. So I'm going to put some water in this. Some guys boil the water first and do it that way. I just heat it up as I go. Give it a quick mix up. I find I get a much thicker pot noodle this way. Because of where I am, this is not the most even surfaces to actually try this on. So you do want it on a decent even surface, because when this starts boiling there's a good chance it'll fall over. So I'm going to reset this just down on the platform in front of me. Now you've seen how it works, and we'll put the surround around it. One thing I should tell you about, these get hot. That's another thing. Because they get hot, you need to give them time to cool down before you can put them in your pack. Okay guys? So don't just pick it up straight away unless you've got a decent pair of leather mitts. That's what we've got this for. So we'll move our little thing, gel stove. As you can see here, see the gel stove on, you can see the heat's giving off. Here I've got the gel stove cap as well. Okay, put the gel stove cap to one side, move that over. Awesome. Now, got my cup. For this one I'm just going to fold the handles back in on itself and station it on the wood, on the metal, sorry. Make sure it's supported. I'm going to take my big lump of wood, which is opened up, and just gently place it around it. Oh, cool. Right, I'll show you what's happening here. And there we have that. Now, what that'll do is, you can see that flame's just underneath there, you can see it popped out the side still. That's going to really concentrate that heat now and allow this to be able to cook and boil a lot faster. And that 15-minute time that takes with the normal piece of metal should be reduced by at least half inside of here, because we've got no draft, got no wind getting in, the heat concentrated, and yeah, and the fuel can burn away and does what it does best. So we'll have a look in a second once it's boiled. Just so you know guys, the time when we start on this is, I want to show you this here. It's 11:15:29 seconds, so we'll see how long it takes for this thing to be able to boil up and cook. So if you can see this, it's starting to cook through now, starting to bubble and boil. Smelling good as well actually. There we go. And right now it is time wise, so a quick look and keep it sturdy. Time wise 11:53:16. So that with 50 before, I think, I can't remember what we were. It's only been a few minutes though, and already starting to boil. So that's reduced it from 15 minutes when I originally used it down to about 3-4 minutes to get this to boil, and that is with outside temperature of around about 11 Celsius today. So interesting. Let's get this off now and get sorted. As you can see, the gel stove's still burning away. So what we're going to do is simply, I'm using a hot pair of decent gloves, take them off, take your lid, try not to get the blue stuff all over you because it is flammable, and then what you want to do, just put it on top like that, slide over, the gloves are not on fire, that's all good, and just pop the lid back down, and it's just sizzling away there now. That's it, fire's out, that's good to go. Oop. Hot, obviously, sizzles. Yep, very, very hot that. Got leather gloves on luckily, so it's not going to affect us, but you want to be careful. Let these two cool down here for probably about 5 minutes or so. Meanwhile, I'm going to stuck into my pot noodle and I'll put them away. Anyway guys, that's been how to use a gel stove. Not hard really. Quiet day in the bushcraft field. But I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. That's how you use a gel stove. Anyway, have a think about what environment you're using them in. They're not very good at high altitude, so mountains and stuff like that mightn't be the best. But for around the base camp, out for the day, want to put a brew on, works fine. Think of some different ways. I recommend if you buy them, at least buy 2, and you get 2 of these metal rings, and 2 of them pulled apart and put round. Should be enough where you wouldn't need to use a tree bark. I haven't got that today. I had the tree bark, so I made use. Anyway, till next time guys, remember, leave no trace but knowledge. I'm out.